was your take on, I thought Ian Machado Gary was great in terms of his takedown defense and the way he fought, short notice fight. What was your take on that fight, and were you impressed by Shavkat?
Yeah, it's one of those fights. I'll give you an example too, like Landwehr versus Choi. On paper, they go in the middle of the octagon, just start slugging it out, and sometimes they don't play out the way you think. 15-0 versus 18-0. What that means, you have two really great fighters with a lot at stake. There's a title on the line, and you saw a lot of great things from both guys during that fight. It wasn't a knockdown, drag-them-out war, but I will tell you this, thank God it was 5 rounds. 5 rounds was the way to do that fight.
All right, and then finally, were you PO'd at Merab for something yesterday? You seemed like you were upset about something that was going on at that press conference. Was there something with the heat between the guys that had you?
That I was pissed off?
Yeah, were you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I thought the press conference was awesome.
Right.
I thought the heat between him and Umar was great. So I was not supposed to be in Los Angeles for this fight coming up, for this pay-per-view fight. I have to fly somewhere and do something that is really important, and I'm moving it. I'm going to Los Angeles. That's how pissed off I was. Yeah.
My last was going to about Mowsar. What you thought of his performance in there?
About who?
Mowsar. He won against Aljamain.
Looked great. Congrats to him.
Dana, how did you score the Cyril Volkov fight?
I thought Volkov won the fight.
Look, I'm not going to try to shit on her particularly, but Adelaide Bird scored it for him, right? This is a name we've heard, but my point really is these judges who've shown bad decisions time and time again, is there anything we can do with the commission to say, like, hey, can they be re-educated, if not new?
So here's what happened after that fight. You heard the boos. I went over to Volkov. I apologized to him. I thought he won the fight. And then the head of the commission came over and said, listen, we feel like that second round was really close, and could have gone either way, and both guys got rocked. We thought that, we thought that, what did they think? I can't remember which one they thought had the worst of it in the second round, but they were making the argument on why the fight was judged the way it was. I had a problem with the battle fight too.
Do you agree with their argument when you heard them out, or do you still maintain that you think Volkov should have probably got this?
It doesn't fucking matter what I think. It really doesn't, because at the end of the day, they decide who wins and loses, not us.
There was an incident with Merab and a fan tonight. I mean, that stuff happens, especially with Merab, to be honest. But I was more curious about your opinion on his mindset this week, right? Seems pretty pissed off at a lot of stuff. Going after Umar yesterday, the press conference, he was freaking out a lot. What do you make of his mindset towards his fight with Umar right now?
Yeah, it's actually a great fight. I mean, listen, it's already, Merab's that guy. He's that guy. This isn't his first altercation. I don't know if you guys noticed at the press conference yesterday too. To the right, somebody yelled something. He's in the middle of a conversation. He looked like he's trying to see who said that. Like what? You're going to run over there and you're going to fight this guy too? It's just, it's the way he is. He's built that way. And I don't know if you saw, but he wasn't sitting in the regular fighter section. We had to move him over. I had to move the other two guys over at our table. It's, we try to diffuse this stuff before it happens, and tonight we had a good game plan. I didn't think he'd get into a fight walking out with Aljamain, but.
Do you think there's a chance he's kind of intimidated by this Umar fight though, right? He seems to really not want this fight, or doesn't feel like Umar deserves it. Do you think there's some mind games going on here, or do you think Umar may be in his head?
Listen, I don't think that any of these guys are afraid of anybody. I'm sure there's certain guys they'd rather wait to fight, and they all have their reasons or whatever, but to say that Merab's fighting people in the fucking stands, okay? Merab would get in a fight in the middle of the fighter section. That's why we moved him over to the left. So I wouldn't say that any of these guys are afraid of anybody or any fight. But, fighters are a paranoid bunch. There's always some conspiracy against them, whether it's us or other people. Or we make fights that people want to see. They win or lose the fights on their own. But they are conspiracy theory. They always think that somebody is against them, and maybe that's what they need to do to have that mental thing to go out and do what they do.